Hey guys, welcome to day one of online school. Get excited. I promised you that today would be short, and I'm going to keep it as short as possible. Remember that normally these videos will probably be about 30 to 60 minutes, so no longer than class, hopefully ever, but sometimes shorter than class, depending on what we're doing that day. Today, I'll try to keep it even shorter than that. We're just going to talk about some clarifications from Friday and what we're going to be doing moving forward because I have some more information and I've had a chance to figure a few things out. So you might hear some background noise. That's just because that's the way that it is right now. So I hope you're all doing well. Let's get started. So let's first review a few things, update a few things. Let's talk about what you should remember. First of all, from Friday, hopefully, or if you weren't here on Friday, this is kind of a good update. So the first thing that you should remember is that you should be checking Canvas every day. As of right now, again, everything is subject to change. We could, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But as of right now, my plan is to put things up on Canvas every day and to be following this schedule, which I showed you on Friday. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays will be a video lesson like today, obviously, um, that you can do on your own time, however you want to do it, however you want to break it up. It'll be 30 to 60 minutes. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays will be some kind of class activity during our regular class time. So whether that is, a discussion board or a writing prompt or something like that, that just keeps you engaged and moving forward with the types of education that we need to be covering. So again, you can expect video lessons like this one, readings, discussion boards, and writing activities. Sorry, you may be hearing like that's the lawnmower outside. So I hope you can still hear me over that. And then remember also that all previously assigned work is currently on hold. So CERs, um, just everything that we've talked about. It's just on hold. Don't panic. I've gotten some emails already from people who are, even though I said on Friday it's all on hold, people are still emailing me, what about this one? It's on hold. All right? Just, it's okay. We will figure things out as we move forward and things kind of shake out and, when we come back, if we need to, whatever. But as of right now, everything's on hold that we had, that I had assigned beforehand. All right? So just, it's fine. You'll be all right. Uh, uh, the other thing is there are a few things that have changed or been modified since Friday. They're not big changes. I don't think they're just more clarifications since Friday. And again, things could continue to change. Things probably are going to continue to change. So this is just where we are right now. Thing one is that at this time, no material is graded. I had said on Friday that there was going to be possibly graded material. There are concerns about everybody being able to access everything. Some people may not be able to participate because of things that are going on at home or whatever. So we are not grading anything, and that should be true for all of your teachers, not just me. But with that said, you should still participate. This gives you something to do every day. It keeps you engaged. It will help you like pass some time. Again, we could be looking at a lot of time spent cooped up and alone, and this is an opportunity to just do something different. So hopefully, you'll continue to do the work even though it's not going to be graded. And second, um, time sensitive activities will continue to be viewable after class time. So, if you, for some reason that day or for several days or whatever, miss a discussion or miss a writing prompt, um, they'll still be there, but I'm not going to promise feedback. You might just have to look at them and do them on your own time if you feel like that would be useful for you. But again, you're still encouraged to participate, but that time sensitive stuff, like if I'm going to be reading it that afternoon and giving feedback that afternoon, I'm only going to do it on that particular schedule for the most part. So just so you know. So again, similar to what I've been talking about, but a little bit slightly modified from what you'd heard. So yeah. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing, at least here in the first part of our stretch. And, again, could be changing, but what I want to do with you guys is something that I've kind of always wanted to do, but I've always kind of made excuses like, oh, there's no time, we've got all this stuff that we have to cover, we've got blah, 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 blah. But why not do that now? And I'm excited, which is why there's an exclamation point. We're going to be doing like a book club. And a book that's really great. It's fiction. It's a really great book to read in conjunction with a lot of the things that we've been talking about all year. But I've always thought like, oh, there's no time to do this. Is 1984. So I think I know that's what we're going to be reading. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background. I'm also going to say that if you don't have a copy of 1984 and you can't get one, I am providing one for you in digital form online. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little while. But don't worry if you can't get a copy, because you can read along online. So let's talk about the book 1984 by George Orwell, which of course he's the author of the essay that we read that a lot of you guys used in your speeches a couple weeks ago. So, it's kind of building on a lot of the things that you kind of already know about him, and what he's thinking about. So 1984 is a book about a guy named Winston Smith, and he lives in the totalitarian state of Oceania. And he, over the course of the book, I don't want to give too much away because part of the fun of reading a book is finding out about it. But over the course of the book, he pushes back against his government in small but significant ways. That's all I'm going to say about that, because it's interesting to kind of watch what that turns into. But the big question then throughout the book is any of what he's doing going to make any kind of difference? And that's kind of a fun question, and I think it has a really kind of surprising ending. I think it has a surprising ending, and so that's something to look forward to. Now, of course, I know some of you have probably already read this book, and that's great. So have I. So I think there's still things to learn from it. I find that good books like this, you go back to these books and you pick up things that you had forgotten, or you realize things that you hadn't realized before. So if you've read it before, great. You just have a little bit more background. But don't spoil it for people who haven't read it either. Let them go on the journey on their own. So things that you should focus on, things that will help you, as we continue to assume that the AP test will happen, and that we're getting ready for that, and all of that fun stuff. So things that you should think about are, how does our study of language over the past, 6 months or so coincide with the ideas that emerge and are explored in this work of fiction? Of course, you kind of have some idea what those ideas might be because we've already read a thing by George Orwell, so expect that there will be some overlap there. But also be looking for those connections between, what we're reading in the book and what we've talked about over the course of the year as well. And then the second question is, how does fiction effectively communicate ideas in ways that are different than the standard forms of rhetoric that we have covered so far? But we in AP Lang, we focus mostly on just, nonfiction, speeches, essays, things like that. But this is kind of a cool opportunity for us to look at fiction. So an interesting question is to consider how fiction plays into this whole rhetoric thing. And also, it's good for any of you who are planning on taking Lit next year, because Lit is all about fiction, so it's good practice for that as well. A few other things. So good ways to engage with the text so that we're not just passively reading the book. So follow along with our schedule, and I'll be as clear about the schedule as possible as we go. if you have a hard copy, great, again, but there is an electronic copy on Canvas that you should see. I will be creating my own version of the audio book on a semi-daily basis. So a lot of our lessons are going to be me reading parts of the book in order. So like, a chapter or two on those Monday, Wednesday, Friday lessons, and then also offering my own observations and commentary to kind of clarify ideas or point things out in ways that will help you. So you can follow along with that, read along with that. I obviously I'm going to encourage you to complete the Tuesday and Thursday activities and to contact me with questions or observations that you're having about the book that maybe I don't cover. You might point out things that I didn't realize before, or just things that I didn't point out for the sake of time or whatever. But hopefully you're reading it and noticing things that not everything that I'm noticing. And then lastly, I want to encourage you to read ahead and then reread with me, or read with me and then read a second time. Like I was saying earlier, that it's a good idea to read multiple times. You get more things out of it, and why not? You might have some extra time on your hands anyway. And if you're not going to do that, fine. But please do at least read with me in class, so that you're at least following along with the ideas that I'm thinking about and things like that. So a couple more things. I'm almost done here. I'm going to wrap up in just a second. But here is something that you might want to, I don't know, maybe you want to screen capture this or something. You can find this on a Google image search as well. But I just want to clarify one more thing about the story, because they're going to be talking about things that you might not be familiar with. The story does take place on Earth in 1984, but it's a different version of Earth. And so I wanted to show this map of what the world of 1984 looks like. You've got the country that Winston Smith lives in is Oceania, and you can see that that encompasses a large part of what we would consider the, I guess, Western world, and parts of Africa, and then actually where the name Oceania is derived from is down in Southeastern Asia and Australia down there. And then we've also got Eurasia up where we would see, Europe and Russia. And then we've got East Asia, which is basically Asia. And then we have disputed areas, which includes other parts of Asia, as well as the northern parts of Africa. So those will all be referenced in the book, and it's just kind of to help you imagine what the world looks like. Winston obviously lives, maybe not obviously, but he lives in London, which is in the UK, but that is called, I think, Airstrip 1 or Landing Strip 1. I can't remember specifically, but when they talk about Landing Strip 1 or Airstrip 1, that's the UK. So, which you can see right up there by Europe, which hopefully you knew that already. So with that, let's kind of draw this one to a close. Hopefully this was pretty short and sweet. What should you expect tomorrow? Another fairly short and sweet thing. All I'm going to ask you to do tomorrow is check in and leave at least one response on our discussion board. So just look at Canvas, go to the discussion board, look to see what the prompt is, check in, and leave a response. And feel free to also stick around and see what other people are saying, and maybe what I'm saying, and that's all I'm going to ask you to do tomorrow. And we'll start in earnest with the reading and stuff on Wednesday, because I just need some time to get up to speed with that. And then, of course, the most important thing that I would like to remind you of is, we are doing this for everybody's benefit, including our own benefit. So please do stay healthy. Make sure that you're following the social distancing guidelines, keeping your hands clean. So stay healthy and help other people stay healthy, and stay safe. Don't go out if you don't have to. Don't put yourself and don't put other people who are more at risk than you at risk. And then finally, stay sane. Keep a routine. Check in with English, check in with math, check in with social studies, and all the other things that you could be doing. Occupy your mind, and find healthy ways to pass the time and have some fun, hopefully, as well. So with that, I will see you tomorrow. Well, I won't see you, but I will hopefully hear from you tomorrow.